You're listening to the Hult Center podcast, and today I am speaking with Virginia Lopez of Melao de Cuba, and they are performing a free summer series concert at the Hult Center on Thursday, August 10th. Those shows start at 5:30 right outside the Hult Center. Virginia, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Daniel.
So I like to start these interviews with basically the same question, but how did you get started as a musician?
Well, I come from a country where music is around you all the time. So I don't really have people that are exactly musicians, but everybody in Cuba is a musician. So basically, since very young, I've always been interested in music, dancing, entertaining people. I entertained my family for years when I was a kid, reciting poetry, singing for them, dancing for them. And that's been my spirit.
That's great. And the drums?
I had a little chair since I was a little one that was had goat skin on it. It's a little old with the back and the seat area, and made
Mm-hmm.
out of.
Yeah.
And I used to play that. I play my little chair. I've always been interested in music in general, but drumming is specifically very fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
And when did you leave Cuba for America?
Um, I came to the U.S. when I was 21 years old. I
Okay.
came from Spain. I'm originally from Cuba, traveled to Spain when I was 18, and then came to the U.S. when I was 21.
And uh, did you land in Portland? Was that?
No, not at all. I
Oh,
came
okay.
Madrid to New York, and then I was there for about a year. Then California, I went to UCLA. Got involved with some musicians there just for fun, nothing totally organized, more like jams by the beach.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
Great. And so let's talk about Cuban culture and music in Portland. So
Mm,
you're located in Portland now.
yes.
What is the Cuban scene like there?
Oh, there is a lot going on. There are bands, live bands. There are a lot of dance teachers that are doing lots of teaching Cuban dancing specifically. There are events that happen regularly. Portland has, yeah, Portland has several bands that are playing Cuban music. It's very, very exciting music, very happy music. Um, so, yeah, there are several bands that perform all over Portland here.
That's great. And I
Yeah,
assume there's some good Cuban cuisine as well.
yeah. There are a few on on Gleason, and there is Pambiche on Gleason and 28th Northeast. There is the Cuba, and on Hawthorne and 30th Southeast. Um, yeah, there is Cuba just opened another one up on Mississippi Avenue,
Oh, cool.
which is a great street. A lot of things happening on Mississippi, Northeast
Awesome.
and North Mississippi. Yeah.
That's great. And what can you tell me about this lineup of musicians in the group right now?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that we've been together since 2005,
Oh, okay.
and that's a lot of years so far, and we're still together, which is pretty beautiful, actually.
The same core group.
Yeah, the pianist is Art Alexander. The lead of the horn section, the leader of the horn section is Mika Brueggemann. She is quite the jazz musician, and she takes the leadership of guiding and writing all the horn parts. Pretty amazing. Um, percussionist, horn players. We usually have four horn players: a baritone sax, a tenor sax, a trombone, and a trumpet. And the harmonies are beautiful. So I owe it all to Mika for doing all the arrangements. Yeah, it's really she's the one who had put us in a professional level.
Oh, that's great.
Um, yeah. So Yeah, we've been known in Portland for many years now. We've played in every park you can imagine, lots of private parties. Yeah, yeah. This year, somehow, we have all our gigs are out of town. We went to Salem for the World Beat. We were the headliners for Saturday night. We're going to Eugene to play at the Hall Center.
Hmm.
There's other parties that we are going to be part of, and they're all out of town. It's weird.
Ah,
So this year, because last year we played at the Music on Main Street, we did some parks, and somehow that's how it happens. All the gigs that came our way are very
well,
exciting.
we're
Every
excited to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fabulous.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
definitely.
Can't
We've
wait.
we've had lovely weather and just people dancing, and
Yes,
it's been a
yes.
really good time.
That's my favorite way to play and sing. Um,
Yeah,
the audience gets to enjoy themselves free of charge. The band gets paid, and everybody's happy.
yeah,
It's really great. I love it.
yeah, that is
And
good.
when I see people dancing, I feel like I've done my job. I really look at people enjoying themselves. I feel satisfied. It's really
Yeah,
wonderful.
I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Me quemo, me quemo, me quemo. Eso, ahí, ¿me quiere a bailar, a bailar?
So, what are your songs about, and what is the lyrical beating heart of your sound?
Well, as the lead singer, I choose the songs I want to sing with my band, and the lyrics must be inspiring, positive, uplifting of your spirit. So I choose songs that are Celia Cruz, for example, is one of my idols, and she really was the queen of salsa in the '70s in New York City. I
Okay,
had, yeah, she's a role model, and all her songs are positive. They're of resistance, they're of humanity, they're loving. And so I focus on uplifting songs. I don't do songs about you left me and I'm crying and I'm so sorry and whatever. I'm not doing that.
it's not your
So,
style.
not my style. No, no suffering, please.
Yeah,
No suffering.
there's enough suffering
Plenty
in
of
the world.
that. Plenty of
We'll
that.
get by.
There's plenty of that already. I'm not going to add to that. So yeah, that's the lyrics. I find them to be positive and exciting, and people love it. As soon as you start singing one of those songs, they know and they know the words. So it's really great.
Is there something unique about your sound that isn't inherently Cuban? You know, something that maybe breaks tradition, like your personal assortment of spices, if you will.
Well, we have songs that evolved into themselves when we realized that the notes of, for example, A Love Supreme is the same notes as a Yoruba song um, to the goddess of love in Cuba, for example. And realizing that is just quite a discovery in a way because John Coltrane went to Cuba. And of course, he learned a lot of songs and music over there. And so when he does A Love Supreme, then there's Iyamile. That's exactly the same songs. And so I was talking to the leader Mika to because I choose the songs and she'll do the arrangements. And I told her about this particular song and sang it to her, and she said, "Oh my God, those are the same notes as I Love Supreme." So we combine things that are jazzy. There is a lot of freedom for improvising for all the musicians. I think that's why we're still together 17 years later. Everybody gets to just let their hair down and jam, and we all support that person at the time, and we take turns doing that in the most beautiful way. I think it's very organic. We don't exactly do it the same way every time, though we have the format of how to navigate the song.
It's interesting to know like if there is something that defines Cuban music that you kind of turn on its head.
Yes, we we get together and explore. I hear keys that the pianist is doing, and I realize that that reminds me of particular song, and we're very we're very fluid because we are all Portland musicians, and I'm
Hmm.
the only Cuban in the group, and it's a Cuban band. So it's interesting because we all bring in our own background. So the pianist does improvising, he's going into his own background as a teenager, playing more Motown kind of music, and um, and then you have the horn players going into solos that are basically who they are. And so people are very comfortable with their instrument, and then we all have a wonderful time together. And it's every time it's fresh. You know what I mean? Fresh,
Totally. Yeah.
fresh. Yeah,
Well, that's exciting.
yeah.
Um, what are the biggest challenges that you faced as a group?
I think sometimes the biggest challenge is to get all 12 of us in a rehearsal. That's kind of everybody has a
Sure.
life. Everybody has a life. It's really, and but we do it. We do it. We're very committed to, and I organize everybody and trying to figure it out when who is available. I have my methods of keeping track of those things.
An
So yeah,
Excel spreadsheet.
exactly, exactly. Actually, yes. So yeah. What else?
You've mentioned a couple artists in this conversation, but who are your biggest influences?
My biggest influence um, are the Celia Cruz as a salsa queen. Um, Lots of folkloric groups that play Afro-Cuban traditional spiritual music that I have been singing for a long time. Before I put together Melao, I had a group of mostly women that did percussion and singing, and then I would collaborate with dancers to do specifically folkloric Afro-Cuban songs and dance.
I guess this is an important one too. Where can people find your music?
People can find us by going to cubanmusicpdx.com. It's the website that I manage. Cuban Music PDX is a general name for the website, but I have different pages on page for the big band Melao de Cuba, a page for a smaller ensembles that I work with, where I get to play the congas with a guitarist and a bass player, and sometimes we add a horn or two depending on what people need.
Hmm.
Have another page for me teaching drumming because I teach drumming and singing is something that I'm very excited to share with people, and it's a good way for me to stay in shape as far as the drumming and the singing. If I'm teaching it, if I can teach it, I know it. That's basically how I feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
That's great. Is there anything else that you want to say to just the people that are ready to come to the show and dance? Any message for those people?
Yeah, I just say get ready for a wonderful time, a very fun, joyful time with Melao de Cuba.
Well, thank you, Virginia. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, Melao de Cuba will be at our free summer series event on Thursday, August 10th at 5:30. Come on down and get ready to dance.